Hello, this is the fourth time I'm actually recording this because this video is pretty long, and not only that, I have to turn this in for a grade very soon. So, sorry for the quality of the video. I wanted it to be much higher, but 14 assignments does a lot to a motherfucker. So, it is what it is. I promise in the future to re-upload this and it be a higher quality. But as of now, this is what it is. I advise getting a snack, or like while you, or more. Actually, probably be better if you just put this on in the background where you do something while you do something. I just go on an absolute yapping session. Enjoy the half-baked video. It's a little raw. Those of y'all that may know me in real life know that I am Nintendo's #1 meat writer. Even as Nintendo's best gobbler of their glizzy, I can't ignore the elephant in the room when it comes to their company. Cease and desist. Suing. Being that this is the start of an 8-episode series going forward, I definitely don't have a gun pointed to my head right now. There is no metaphorical gun pointed to my head at all. I am completely safe. I don't need help. Online, I typically go by Salt. That's with a capital A. Or if that's too cringe for you, you can just call me Dalton. Here on this 8-episode series, I will be reviewing issues in the video game industry. I'm very passionate about video games. I love Nintendo especially. I own nearly every console. I don't have an issue. I've even modded my own Game Boy. I taught myself how to mod a Game Boy, and it was a lot of fun. Actually, it's probably my favorite thing I own. Actually, I play this thing all the time. I just want to do a good old review series like back in high school. The good old days, right. This is an opportunity for me to work on something I'm passionate about. So, thank you for taking your time out of your day to watch this, and let's just get right into it. To get us started, I have a whiteboard. This whiteboard has a bunch of, just not too many notes, but just enough for me to list down some of the things Nintendo's taken down. So let's just go in order. These are probably not in stone order, but order by year at minimum. So take it as you will. First up on the chopping block was PokeMMO. Now, surprisingly, just like Jesus Christ himself, he came back, and it's stronger than ever now. It's actually an amazing ROM hack. Is it a ROM hack? It's an amazing game. I highly recommend, if you legally have the games, to play it. I love it. It is an amazing MMO. Hit me up on there. Next in 2015, we have Super Mario 64 HD, and then again in 2015, the reverse. Instead of a remaster, we have a demake of Ocarina of Time 2D. Bye, Link. You're not coming back. You are stuck in the future now. Next is another Zelda, the Zelda 30 tribute, a tribute to Zelda's 30th anniversary. Yeah, that was taken down in 2016. Next is one that I think a lot of people might remember, maybe briefly, maybe a blip. You might have Alzheimer's. Is Pokemon Uranium. This was a fan game. I remember it. I didn't play it. I just remember seeing like the first 10 minutes of people playing, then losing interest because back then I didn't care too much about fan games. Nowadays, I fucking love fan games. Next up, we have AM2P, which is a remake of Metroid 2. Not anymore. It's gone. 2016. Gone. And then again in 2016. They were popping off in 2016. Damn. We have Pokemon Prism in 2016. Pokemon Prism being another Pokemon fan game. I believe this fan game is actually back. I've seen gameplay of it very recently. I don't know if it's a recent thing. Please don't quote me. But yeah, that was taken down. That is another one that has risen from the ashes. Potentially. Allegedly. Do any of y'all remember Game Jolt? The only thing I remember it for personally is, it was a cool place to, I think it was like a forum place for like Five Nights at Freddy's. It wasn't meant for Five Nights at Freddy's, but that's literally the only thing I remember it for was FNAF 1. Like literally, that is the only thing I remember it for. Either way, over 300 games were taken down from it. 300 fan games. Now, I don't know to the extent of like if these were just fan games or if these were straight up just the ROMs from the games put on the internet. Because if it's the latter, that's illegal. But I'm willing to bet that it's the former, and that's just sad. That's just sad. And also, when I was doing research on this, I could not find an exact number. On here, this is 329, which is from a wiki article. But I think from another place, it was like 370 something. And then there was another article that said it was like 500. So the numbers are being completely bullshit. I think we can leave it at a fuck ton. Because like 300 games, like that's significantly more than what the Virtual Boy put out. Let's be honest. Like that's a lot. That's what. Oh my god! Wait, the Virtual Boy has more games than the. Wait, the Virtual Boy has more games than the PlayStation 5. Wait, the Game Jolt thing was in 2020. That might be important to bring up. So yeah, we had a 4-year time skip. So Nintendo now has hockey. Next is an interesting one. Breath of the Wild's second win in 2022. Do y'all remember Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild? One of the best games in a long time. I love that game. But the amazing game. And this wasn't actually a fan game. It was a mod. And for those who don't know what a mod is, it's an add-on that lets you modify the game. Honestly, if you just look up Minecraft mods, it's kind of self-explanatory, being that more of you played Minecraft than Zelda, so that would probably help. But yeah, it was a mod, and it added a lot of things, and yeah, they took that down as well. Now that one, there's the thing with that one. So now it's actually really easy to hack the Switch from what I remember. I'm pretty sure all you need is a paperclip. I don't know if Nintendo has patched it, but I'm pretty sure all you need is a paperclip to hack your Switch. I'm not even kidding. I'm pretty sure the mod is something you have to do on your laptop, which I'm pretty sure you can't put Switch games on your laptop unless you... The next one that got taken down was Pokemon FPS. Remember that really funny bit from like back in like 2022 where someone made a FPS of Pokemon, a first-person shooter? It was really funny. Yeah, the holy trinity of Creatures Inc., Game Freak, and Nintendo did not like that. They did not. I'm pretty sure it was mostly Nintendo. Ooh. But yeah, that got taken down swiftly, which is really funny, and lines up with a future thing that got taken down. Okay, so it turns out the bottom of this is kind of erased, but I do remember it's called Relic Castle, which is like a forum/download place where people would make fan games. And the year is conveniently erased on it, but just know it's in between the time frame was 2022 and 2024. I think it's more recent. And the last one was probably a big one to me, actually, because I was shell-shocked when I heard this. Gary's mod. Not the entire game, but basically they had to take that. But basically, Gary's mod had to take down every single Nintendo-related thing on there, pretty much. If post edit me if you want to go ahead and add some information. Go ahead. Screw you. And the last and most important talking point is with none other than Gary Bowser himself. This is unfortunate as hell. So let me give you the very dumbed down version. I highly recommend go to external media to hear more about Gary Bowser, because this dude, just to sum it up, just got absolutely fisted by Nintendo. Gary Bowser was the middleman. Do you know the phrase "don't shoot the messenger"? This literally was the messenger, and Nintendo shot them. They shot the messenger. Gary Bowser ran the website for Team Executor. They're known for making hacking chips for consoles and such. Like back then, there was like a hacking chip for like the Xbox and shit. But in modern day, they still kind of do that, kind of. But one of the things they were selling are dongles for the Nintendo Switch. And what these dongles let you do is, go figure, they let you hack the Switch. And, of course, Nintendo didn't like that. So they swung down their iron hammer and Gary Bowser was the one that took the brunt of force. Like Piccolo saving Gohan, Gary Bowser took the brunt of the blow for Team Executor. And how much of this blow? Well, just like killing Piccolo, $14.5 million of a blow. Holy shit. Over 9,000, yeah. And from what I can find, I'm pretty sure the entirety of the team, they pretty much got off scot-free from what I can find. Like I'm pretty like they're cruising, you know. Bowser's in Bowser is down horrendous right now, and these people are just fine. I don't know if they're they're supporting him or not, or they're just not associating with him, so that way, you know, the feds don't get on them and shit. But yeah, poor Gary. He even has like some like foot thing going on, something like that. Like it is horrible. His family's doing the best they can to support him. Like, okay, I get what he was doing was illegal. Yes, I get that. But did we really have to do $14 million of damage to this man's life? He's not even going to ever pay it off. Like, that poor soul. So I've been taking a class recently. I'm not a master because this is very recent. It's the beginning of the semester, so give me the benefit of the doubt here. But, you know, it's still interesting. I think I could talk about it a bit. Ethics. Communication ethics. I'm sadly in communication studies. Yes. Throw your tomatoes. In this class, you talk about, like, the ethics of communications. Go figure, that's the name of the class. But it gets philosophical at times, you know. But using that, but also just because this is just a thing I'm always curious about, I just kind of want to know why. Why does Nintendo do the thing they do? Why do they do it? And that's what I'm here to do. So first, we're going to talk about the fans. As a Nintendo fan, sadly, we are the Disney fans of gaming. I know, it's a horrible thing, but you got to suck it up, guys. You got to suck it up. We're the Disney fans of gaming. But as someone who plays pretty much every Nintendo console and kind of sort of follows everything, I just gotta say, every time they kind of put down the iron hammer on things, it's just kind of it feels out of touch. It feels like they don't make games to make us happy, you know? They make games because money, which is definitely a big reason why they make games. It's a huge reason why they make games. But I get the developers there are passionate and they like what and shit. Like you get and Nintendo, from what I know, I could be wrong, but they do treat their developers pretty fairly from what I know. I could be completely wrong. Please shoot down in the comment sections. Cancel me for being wrong. But from what I know, because they gave a lot of their games a lot of time, and then you have that classic quote from one of the developers. I don't know if it was Zelda Man or Miyamoto, but you know, but it basically sums up a rushed game. It ain't no good. You ain't gonna get good shit from a rushed game. What I'm trying to say is, Nintendo, when it comes to the developers, they're pretty cool. They're pretty chill. Maybe not the Pokemon ones. I don't know if Nintendo has a hand in what the fuck's going on with Pokemon, because holy cannoli. But when it comes to their fans, it feels like they just kind of see them as like cows to milk money from. Because, I mean, shoot, you got like things like the subscription service now for their classic games, and I hate. I'm gonna be honest. I hate subscription services. I hate them. However, they have been helpful for some people. I still hate the fact that subscription services are so widespread now, but partially I can't. But honestly, Nintendo's fucking sucks. I'm not gonna lie. Just put them all on there. What are you doing? That's for another video. That's for a future episode. Getting ahead of myself. But whenever Nintendo takes down a classic, or whenever Nintendo takes down a fan game, it just hurts. Like you're getting personally attacked. Like no, yes, like it's like them saying, no, you cannot make a little fan project to show how much you love our product. How dare you? Ooh, it's like when your kid makes a drawing for you, but instead of the parent that puts it on the fridge, they're the parent that goes, "Oh, look at this. Oh, they go, oh wow, Jimmy. Oh, what a nice little drawing you have for me." I'm not even gonna say anything. Well, yeah, that's pretty much verbatim what they do to their fans. That's literally what they do. Take down a game. Don't really say much about it. Maybe they say, "Oh, that's bad," and then they just like nothing ever happened. Like I swear to you, I have never heard them address something. Like anytime there's something going on, they like barely address it at all. Like I swear, it's just tone deaf. It just feels really tone. It's like if it kind of feels like they're still like it feels like they're still stuck in the past. Now they're still stuck in the past more ways than one, but this is like one of the ways I feel like they're still stuck in that past. And let's kind of cross over to the Nintendo side of the ethics to kind of figure out why. I got it right here. This is it. This is it. This is my binder I do research in for like video game history and shit. I do this on my own time. I haven't been doing it lately just because I've been so busy. Dude, one credit classes, man. Dude, it's like doing fetch quests in a video game. Holy cannoli. So let's look at Nintendo's history. More specifically, gaming's history. And we're gonna look at the crash of '83. You know, it's calling it the crash of '83 sounds weird. We're going to look at the video game market crash of 1983. This is probably one of the most infamous incidents in video game history, like without a doubt. In the United States specifically, and it's mainly the US, it kind of had ripple effects around the world, but mainly here. It went from a $3.2 billion industry to a mere $100 million industry, a shadow of its former self. And that was from 1983 to 1985. And we'll get to 1985. Several companies went out of business. Consumers lost faith in the video game market. Several companies went out of business. Consumers lost faith in the video game industry. It was an absolute shit show. Like to consumers, it was just a fad. Like that's practically what video games were. Like from the 70s to 1983, shit, I guess that fad's over. Like it was bad. But why did the crash happen? Well, there's a variety of reasons. And pretty much all of these reasons is what caused Nintendo to be the way that they are in America. At least I believe. The first reason I'm going to bring up that caused the crash was poor quality. A lot of the games during this time were pretty bad. And this has to do with first-party developers and just developers all around rushing to pump out games into the market to make as much money as possible. Like, there's no better example than this than E.T. Like, from what I know, I'm like, here, let me actually, because I have a lot of. Oh yeah, the guy who made E.T. Guess how much time he had to make this game? Guess. Well, I'll tell you the specific dates. So the guy, like the single man, like the one man army for this game, had from July 27th to September 1st. He had 5 weeks to make a game. Not just any game, but a game George fucking Lucas personally wanted him to make. And George Lucas played and approved it. E.T. But yeah, that was one of the biggest blunders. And by the way, if you're wondering who made that, what company? But yeah, that game was one of the biggest blunders. And if you're wondering what company made that, it was Atari. Atari made that. The big the king of the '70s, pretty much. Yeah, yeah, that was them. That was them. Oh, not just that though. Not just that. we can't forget we can't forget about Pac-Man on the Atari. That really did a number to hurt consumer trust. But yeah, it was a big thing back then for quantity over quality, and that really hurt the industry. The quality was one of the biggest reasons that hurt consumer trust. Another one was publishing control. And this is a big one for what we're going to be talking about. You see, back then, the really only true third-party developer that legally did third-party stuff was Activision. They were like the first true third-party developers for home consoles. And funnily enough, they're just a division of Atari. Those guys were just a division from Atari. Arguably made the best games for that system as well. My personal favorite is boxing. That game is really fun to me. But really, there wasn't really any third-party publishers other than Activision, which Activision's kind of in quotations because the guys that ran it were just pissed off employees from Atari. But after 1979, that's when a bunch of third-party developers really started springing out of the grass. But that wasn't grass growing. That was weeds. And then once 1982 rolled around, these guys were popping up everywhere. About 30 companies, which is that I don't think that's a lot nowadays. I really don't think that's a lot nowadays. I feel like, yeah, I don't think that's a lot nowadays. But back then, that's a lot because you had 30 companies all making games for Atari, but also not specifying who was making the games, because that's also another big one. Because see, on the packaging, they just put Atari. So when people go and buy the game, it's like, oh, a new Atari game made by Atari. Yes. And the thing about all these companies is that they all had very small, the thing about these companies is that they had like little to no experience developing. So, of course, all these games were really half-assed, really bad, humping games into the market. And by 1983, there was like over 100 companies like just flooding the market with low-quality games. And this is probably the biggest reason. This probably is one of the biggest reasons why it crashed. Because yeah, Atari put out a few really bad games, and those games were very dog shit. So they had reason. The market had reason to crash. But also, there were so many companies almost pretty much posing as them, putting stuff on the console. Atari had no publishing control. They couldn't do anything. So it was just a ton of bad games. It was bad. It was horrible. They had no control. And now there's other minor things that well, not really, maybe not minor, but that had played an effect. Marketing, which is one that Nintendo actually sought to rectify as well, but that's not important to the topic. Inflation was a thing. Home computers were a thing, but those were the main things that really crashed the video game industry in 1983. How do we got video games now? Well, this is when Big Papi Nintendo came over to America. Well, they didn't. Well, they've been in America for a while because Donkey Kong was a thing. They made several other small things before that coming, but Donkey Kong was the big thing that put them on the map. Around the same year, I think it was the same year of the crash. Yeah, same year as the crash. I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check my notes. Yeah, same year as the crash. The Famicom came out in Japan. What is the Famicom? Well, the Famicom, short for Family Computer, was the NES of Japan. So technically the NES came out 2 years in advance, except America didn't get it because stuff was happening. And the Famicom's goal at the time was to bring the arcade experience into the home. And because Nintendo's arcade games were the 8-bit games that we all know and love, and I'm not going to get too much into other reasons why the Famicom was so innovative, but just know they were trying to bring the arcade experience into the homes. And let's fast forward into 19 85. We gotta scroll a bit. There we go. 1985. This is when I like to say Nintendo performed CPR on the video game industry. It's 1985, and Nintendo's like, all right, we have something really good here with the Famicom. How do we bring this into America where the market is just dead? So Nintendo of America and Nintendo of Japan, they work together to figure out, hey, how? All right, fuck. So to figure this out, Nintendo of America and Japan, they work together to figure out what would appeal to Americans the most. And after a lot of work, they made the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System. Now the thing about the NES was that the NES was kind of like a Trojan horse, because the way they marketed the game and kind of like showed it off was sort of like a toy, like the ultimate toy you can own. In fact, it was bundled with a Duck Hunt and Rob the Robot. And I forgot if the Duck Hunt and Rob thing was together or separate bundles, because I don't know if it was Duck Hunt and Duck Hunt Mario and the NES, or Rob Duck Hunt Mario and the NES. I don't know if it was like all together or separate. It was one of the two. It might have been both, actually. I think it might have been both. But basically, this was the most advanced toy ever. And it worked. It actually worked. They even tested it out in the Big Apple, and you know how the saying is, you know, if it forts in the Big Apple, it knights everywhere else. You know, something like that. And the game that really hit it off was Miyamoto's game, Super Mario Brothers. That's the guy. And so it had a soft launch in New York, and then after the success there, it went nationwide. And certainly the nationwide was on Nintendo's side, because everyone loved it. It was amazing. It was peak. It was actually peak gaming. The NES was so popular that video game consoles weren't called video game consoles. They weren't called consoles. No. Everyone just called them Nintendos. Like, to any of y'all's parents out there, just like when they bought you a console, they never, like, did they call it a video game console? No, they say, hey, I bought you a Nintendo. That's why they call it a Nintendo. It's because of this. Well, going back to the crash of '83, this is what Nintendo did this is what Nintendo did to not let it happen again. And as you can see now, it hasn't happened again yet. So the publishing control. This is the biggest one, because this is what we're talking about here. If you noticed, on every single game, I'll flash it up on screen. I might have a copy in here. Okay, I don't have a copy of a Switch game, because those are all behind here. But I have a 64 cartridge. If you notice on the 64 cartridge, it has an official seal of approval. That is not only a way to trademark all their games, but it's a sign of proof that, hey, this is a game of quality. This is a damn good game. This is Smash Brothers. This is the first Smash Brothers. This is a damn good game. It's been reached. Well, maximum recording time was reached there. Fuck. Luckily, I remember where I was at. Like Nintendo had a lot of ways to lock out potential third-party developers from making their games. The only way to make games for Nintendo was if you got their permission, and then they were cool. You passed their vibe check. I'm gonna put this in my pocket. Now, nowadays, people are able to kind of get past this stuff pretty easily, especially for older consoles. Shit, for newer consoles, I give people a couple months to a year. They'll get past that shit easy. It's not hard. Now, nowadays, the feds will probably be on your ass, but you know, that's the powers be. You know, the powers be. But yeah, that's one of the big ways Nintendo combated pirate publishing control, was with their seal of approval and other lockout chip and just lockout methods they did. Like shoot on the Famicom disk system, the Famicom disk system used used what is it called? Sorry, my new gen brain is digging to the wrinkles. Floppy disks, the things that we don't use. Oh yeah, it used floppy disks for their games, and I believe how the lockout system worked there is that it didn't really have a lockout chip because it's a floppy disk. What it had is like the grooves on the floppy disk itself where it said Nintendo. Like if it didn't, it was almost like fitting into a keyhole. Like if it didn't fit, if the key didn't fit, it's not working. So it was a pretty good way to fight piracy. Not piracy, but it was a pretty good way to maintain publishing control. Now the last thing is, and that also seal of approval doubly fights the quality control as well, because Nintendo had a very good hand on the quality of games. A little too much of a grip. That's the thing. Nintendo was ruthless. Nintendo was very ruthless when it came to who came on their systems and who didn't. Like if you were not on that VIP list, you're not coming into this party at all. In fact, good luck. Like there are stories from many developers that struggled to get on Nintendo systems. So it's like it was sometimes really hard and daunting to do that. But also Nintendo wouldn't let their own games go to anywhere else. Like do you see an official Nintendo game on a PC today? No. Fun fact, did you know the people that made Doom, the original Doom, before that they made a port for Super Mario Bros. 3 on the PC, and then when they showed it to Nintendo, they were like, "Damn, that's pretty cool." Yeah, but we can't put that on PC. Sorry. And the reason why that was so impressive was because side-scrolling on the PC was something that wasn't really done before. Like making side-scrolling platformers was pretty ahead of its time for the Doom people. The Doom devs were talented as fuck. But yeah, now that y'all kind of know the things Nintendo did to circumvent all these things, now we can move on a bit. I do want to bring up one thing though before moving up, and that's a lawsuit. I just want to bring this up to throw some stuff into the pot. That's all. Nintendo versus Galoob Toys. If you don't know who Galoob Toys is, I don't blame you. But if you know anything about the Game Genie, which was a device it was a cartridge that you put on top of the Nintendo cartridge, and then you slotted that into the system. And basically, it lets you absolutely do whatever the hell you want on games. You want infinite lives? Put in the code. Done. You want infinite jumps? Done. You want to get to the end of Mega Man with all everything? I mean, you could just put a code in, I'm pretty sure, but done. I'm not gonna lie. When I played Mega Man 2, I just gave myself infinite lives because I hate lives in video games. I hate them. I hate lives in video games. I always like to give myself infinite lives because I think having a live counter, getting a game over, and then having to start over, I hate it. But Nintendo did not like the Game Genie altering their games, so Game Genie got sued. The Galoob Toys, the makers, got sued. But Galoob won. Galoob won this lawsuit. But yeah, Galoob won. Yeah, Galoob won. Yeah, it was the case was in 1992. Galoob won because court said that they didn't violate their derivative works. It was just modifying something that people have already paid for. So there's really no harm being made to Nintendo's wallets at all. So there's no issue having here at all. People are just editing their games. It was under fair use. Galoob Toys was scot-free, which I think is very interesting. Because going back to which I just gotta say is very interesting because remember the thing when I brought up in 2022 with that Breath of the Wild mod getting taken down? Yeah, how did they do that? That because under that lawsuit, Nintendo should not have had the power to do that. In fact, anybody under that lawsuit, anybody should be allowed to hack their systems and or no, or like maybe not under, but because of that lawsuit, people should be allowed to hack their systems and such in games, right? Like that should be a thing people are just allowed to do. Now, whether you think hacking is cheating or not, that's up to you. If you want to spit in the face of them, could you spit into the spittoon, please? Because I mean, that's kind of gross to spit in people's face. So back to the original topic of this video. Does Nintendo have the right to take these games down? Yes. Now, is it ethically right to? Personally, nah, I really don't think so. Now, technically, like they do have the yes, they do have the right to it. But what ethics really does depend on a point of view. Like it does depend a lot on your point of view of things. But I think overall, it's not like it's just not good. I don't think it's healthy at all because all it does is hurt the consumers on how they feel about you. Like now, Nintendo's a monolithic company, so will this ever really hurt their bags? No, they make kids games. Of course not. It's not gonna hurt. It's not good. This is not gonna hurt their bags at all. It's one of those things where it's like it's out of touch. It's just severely out of touch. Because now, like back then, then the argument can be made that yes, it is right for Nintendo to take actions on stuff like this. Because back then, people were way more gullible than they are now. Like you could have someone could have put a fake Mario game out back then, and then most people would think, "Oh wow, a new Mario game! Whoopee!" And and then boom, Nintendo can't do shit about it. Like, damn. Like, yeah, they can take it down, but then the damage is already done. But nowadays, that's not the case at all. Like, you can, especially because of people are way more tech savvy nowadays, and and when someone puts out a fan game, it's pretty obvious that it's a fan game. Like, look at Sega. Look at how they treat their fans. Shit, the fans carry Sonic, honestly. Like, can we be honest? Fans absolutely carry Sonic the Hedgehog. And that's the beautiful thing. Like if you really, cultivate your fan base, you really don't got to do shit. Your IP will live on forever. And you don't got to do anything. Like, dude, the amount of Pokemon games I play, like the amount of Pokemon ROM hacks I play, I'm not going to tell anybody what those ROM hacks are. No, you guys will not know what those ROM hacks are unless you speak to me in real life, because I'm not about to put my favorite ROM hacks on blast. Nah, I might stream them one day. That's for damn sure. So that's kind of hypocritical of me to say right now, but I love these ROM hacks so much. I love them. I literally play them on this Game Boy. I love it. And yes, I own the games. So Nintendo, don't come after me. I have the games. It's behind here. It's behind here. Yeah, Nintendo, don't come after. Oh, I forgot my bag. Oh yeah, the bag's green. That's right. I have the games. Here's my Pokemon Gold and Pokemon Silver right here. I have Sapphire and Emerald somewhere else. Well, what I'm trying to say, it just hurts the fandom. This thing, the stuff they do just hurts. The more they're gonna punch their fans, eventually the fans are just gonna stop being a punching bag and just move on. Cause shit, no matter what Nintendo does, fan games are always gonna persist. And once one person downloads it, everybody could eventually get it. That's just how it goes. It literally just takes one person downloading it and then redistributing it for everybody to get their hands on it. But as I was saying earlier, people are tech savvy. They don't people are gonna know what's a fan game and what's not nowadays. And like I said earlier with Sonic, people know what's a Sonic game, what's not a Sonic game. It's just people know now. People are smarter than that before. Like the only people I think that probably aren't are parents. But that's a whole topic for another day. And oh, and also young kids. I mean, of course, young kids. But still, the average person, though, even like with that young kid getting older, because even as a kid, I was able to tell what's like. Even as a kid, I was able to tell even as a kid, I was able to tell what's a fan game and what's not. Like I knew pretty damn well that Sonic.exe was a fan game, and it fucking traumatized me. God damn. But it was easy. Like people could fans, even kids could tell what a fan game was. It was pretty obvious. So I don't think Nintendo really needs to do this, this campaign of taking out fan games left and right to prove that they keep the integrity of their series, or like to say, hey, these are fakes. We have the real stuff. Like that doesn't need to happen anymore. Times have changed, legit. And it's almost like PTSD that Nintendo has, like, or just money. Maybe they just see green. But it's almost like they have like war trauma from 1983, 1985. Like they're taking the things they learned from then a little too close to heart. And it's one of those things where I think if they just lay off and let the fans do their thing, then yeah, there you go. And if they want to take down ROM websites that have like a bunch of ROMs on them, like free. And by the way, if for those who don't know what a ROM is, it's what you're playing. Your video games are ROMs. If you're wondering what this is a cartridge with the Pokemon ROM hacks that I play. But yeah, just if they can take down the ROM, they can take down the straight up ROMs, because that is illegal. Like no matter what way you slice it, that is straight up illegal. But and I would be 100% on their side if it wasn't for one specific thing, but we'll get to that at some point. That's for a future video. But yeah, yapping sesh is done. So moral of the story: Nintendo, lay off the gas a bit. Let's pump the brakes a bit, and let's just catch up with the times a bit. They can do what they do. Sadly, it is somewhat in their right. Big company hurt consumer, and also please Nintendo, go back to your Wii U era, dude. What is y'all's news? What's the new president's name for Wakawa, bro? Please get on the big screen once, bro. Can we go back to the Wii